Alright, we're back on the first person horror. I was thinking, how would this game end? What is the ending of this game looking like? And I thought maybe they'd have to get something, do something. I don't know, I guess it's fairly open on what could happen. Like I said, I'm only playing with this one building, but I mean, you could open this up and do all sorts of different things. So I think, for simplicity's sake, I am going to put a timer, and I'm just going to use a text, and I'm going to go back to 2D. It's just there, and I'm going to stick this timer, say, around there. And we're just going to place them just as so. Could probably do best fit. Doesn't need any of that. So I think if we get, say, to the morning, daylight comes, the little hero is safe. So we need a way to do time. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. I wonder if I should do a modulo. If I remember how they work. Get a couple of those. I have to remember how these things even function well. If you've never seen these things before, they're different. Not really much of a thing beyond that. They're just different. So, for example, int modulo. So, for example, if I go divisor 60, dividend 1, result is, say, seconds every frame. Dividend, no, I think that one's got to be a variable. Oh, no, wait, no. I think maybe he is 1. Alright, let's take a look. Let's stick him like that, so we can play with him for a second. So if I go, or maybe it's the other way around, 60 and 1, result and 0, unless that is a variable. Let's just test that with 1. 10. Nah, you silly thing. Okay, yeah, right. There we go. So, if that's that, as I increase this, hits that 60, see how it resets automatically? Pretty fancy, right? Pretty useful. So, if I store this as seconds, and that's 60, and this is current time in, say, we'll say, I don't know, minutes. So the other thing we want to do is int operator, and we want to take current time divided by 60 equals hours every frame. So now, if we take current time, stick him over there, we get we have our minutes going up. Now we have hours, which ignore that, but there's that. So it climbs up and it just keeps resetting. This is climbing, but we have those hours. Pretty fancy. So now we just need to, so if these are, say, not seconds, let's just name those, right? Let's say minutes, and then this guy's our hours. Let's get rid of our seconds here. And then what we'll do is wait, I don't know, say 5 seconds maybe. You'll have to do all the math and figure this out and how long you'd want this to actually happen. Next frame and finish. So this guy would now int add. You can do this with floats as well. Current time add 1. And let's stick it UI text set text. Where are we? We are on ourselves. Okay, well that makes it easy. Convert. Oh, we have hours and minutes here. So what we need is to build a string. Let's build a string. So we're going to have 3 parts. First part we're going to have converted hours. Second part we're going to have one of those. And I guess we don't even need that. We could use that separator option. So our separator will be him. Don't add it to the end. And element 2 will be the converted minutes. We'll store as time. We don't need it every frame, and we're going to set it as time. There we go. So now if we hit play, we have that, but we should have, we need to change that format. So does it let us do format? Convert int to string. Yes, this one does. That part doesn't. So we can build a string with this part. So if we take our minutes, our string variable is going to be our minutes string format. Is it 00 or F0? We'll try that. So now we use minute string. Copy, paste that before, and let's do hours to hours string. I don't know if we need to do that one as well. It might be fine kind of the way it is. Then we'll use hours string. Now we have this kind of setup. Pretty fancy, pretty easy timer. I mean, obviously it's not real time. If you wanted to put it real time, you would increase that every minute, not every 5 seconds or whatever we're doing. But to show you how well it works, let's go take this to 0.05. So as you see, time is speeding up. We're flying through time, and see how it just moves over just like that. Pretty, isn't it? And yet very simple. So I'm kind of locked there, so let's hit Control Shift P, come out of play mode. So the other thing we want to do is we don't want to start current time at 0. We want to start if we want to start at 60 times, oh, I messed that one up, current time. So 60 times, we'll say we'll start at 8 o'clock, which is 2000. So that should be like that. Now we should be starting at 8 o'clock at night. Okay, now the only issue with that one is if we hit the 2400, which would be 60 times, son of a current time, 60 times 24. So if we hit 1440, then we need to reset and go back to 0. Right, we don't want to hit, well, more or less 1440. So we know we want, oh, why the fuck keep doing that? Variables, clear, current time, 1, there's that. So what we need to do here then is if int, you could almost use it, oh yeah, we'll use a compare. You could do a switch, but so int compare, and let's just, now let's keep them, yeah, okay, now we'll put them up at the top. So if current time is equal to 1440 precisely, we need to reset time. And if we reset time, set int value current time to 0, and then come back. There we go. That should pretty much do it. So let's, for testing purposes, let's go here. So it's climbing, it's going super fast, 9 o'clock. And he said you can start and end the time anytime you want. I just figured, you know, it's kind of nighttime, you know, go until morning. This might be kind of cool. But this should go to 0, 0. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. It's almost like a fake working clock. I don't know how working it is then. So the other thing we need to know is when we win the game. Right? I'm guessing we'll say 6 in the morning. How about? So we'll stop it right around. Easy way to do the math. Ah, shit. It locked again on me. So it'll be at 360. Alright, so let's put him back up. And let's do another compare. Copy and paste before. And if he's at 360, if he's equal, we have 1. And we'll have to build that logic a little later. Oh, I guess we don't really need to come under that state, do we? We just know we've won. So there's our timer. Even just to make it look pretty, I'll put that in for now. Well, actually, if I really wanted to make it look pretty, I would just do that, I suppose. Okay. So now we have a working clock. Let's come out of our 2D. I don't know if we need much else in our 2D. So the other thing we might want is possibly a health bar. We're going to need actually, no, let's go back to our 2D. We're going to need, let's change this guy to time, and let's add a UI text. And let's just stick him up here. Do we want to use text for health, or do we want to use a slider? Decisions, eh? I was almost thinking, because if you use a text, you can do like a percentage. Maybe best with a slider. I mean, a horror game, like, I don't know what's the norm for a horror game in the ways of a health system, or if there is a health system. We'll put one in just for the fun of it, eh? I think so. So just get rid of some of that stuff. Health, background, let's make it that. Fade it out a bit. The fill, let's go with a darker green maybe. Slider. Ooh. Let's use whole numbers, because I like whole numbers. Let's move 100. There we go. I almost kind of like the nice thinner look to it. I don't know if I'm going to reshape that at all. Let's call that player's health. Okay. Let's anchor that up here actually, right to the top. We should do that with this time too. Anchor it to this corner. And we need, what about a text for our gun? Call this guy our gun. I'm just going to deactivate him for now. So our player let's go down to the arms. So what we're going to do here is add an FSN. So if we have the pistol arms, I'm going to unprefab those. So if we have the pistol arms, I'm going to take that variable, and we're going to have a variable in here as well for current ammo. And we're not going to play with numerous guns, so I'm not going to put a max in. So on, why did I do that? So on start, we want to activate gun. We want that guy. The other thing we want is we want to UI text set text the gun. We need something to set it for, so let's build a string. And we'll have 3 parts. So the first part is going to be, say, pistol. Second part is going to be current ammo. The third part is going to be 9. No, we're going to want 4 parts for this, just the way it works. So that one can be slash, this one can be 9, separator can be a space, don't add it to the end, gun text. Alright, so he sets gun text. And we'll set him at the bottom. Okay, so we also need a way to update our ammo. And if we ever call that, when we shoot, we need pretty much the same thing. Copy and paste. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to stick it on this guy because it's already got the references, but we obviously don't need to update ammo. We don't need to build the string. We don't need to set the text, but we just need to deactivate it. I can even get rid of those 2 variables. There we go. Now, if we hit play, right, we have our time, and if I swapped arms, we have pistol 0 of 9. We swap back, and it's gone. Swap it over. There it is. Now we got a pistol. So how do we load our pistol? How do we set that part up? So we have mouse controls. We don't have a UI necessarily to hit. So let's do the number values up top. I should almost put the flashlight up there too, eh? So like 1 for the flashlight and 2 for the pistols or something. Because right now, where do we have our flashlight? Let's disable. Flashlight is sitting there. So that's get key down. I should move that up here, but whatever. I'm going to keep it here. So, but I'm going to move that over to 1. Alpha 1. And then up here, I'm going to put a get key down. Need 2 of those. So we need alpha, not keypad. Well, you can use any button you want. We're going to use 2 and 3. So this will be unarmed, and this will be pistol. So when we hit the unarmed button, we need a couple things. Oh, there we go. And normally I would activate, but you know what? There is a new action I've seen, and I wanted to give it a whirl. Activate solo. And let's say he is base arms. And don't do that. And then we'll finish, and we'll come back. So I've never had this activate solo, so I'm kind of interested in seeing it. It's one of the new things in the new update. One of the fun things I can play with. So I mean, if you had like 10 different arms here, this would be the only action you would need. So let's just quickly check that. So alpha key 1 is our flashlight. Alpha key 2 is our arms, our unarmed. 3 is our pistol. And we don't have a equipped animation. We could always build those sometime. But pretty snazzy. Okay. There we go. Now if we are here, I don't even know if I have any gun sounds. So I might have to do that part in another video. But we have a shoot. So the way I would do these is here you have update ammo. Actually, I can almost build it right in this, you know? Let's say, okay, so ideally, if you had get mouse button down, if I clicked mouse, I have clicked the mouse. I have clicked the mouse, and I am going to do what? I am going to int compare my current ammo is greater than 0. It's okay. And if it's not, then it's not okay. Or if it's less than, it's definitely not okay. So if it's not okay, I'm just going to go back up here. You could almost do a dry fire animation. We didn't make one, so I'm not going to worry about it. But if it's okay, we want to int add current ammo -1, and we are going to, I'm going to do this in 2 FSMs, I think. So we want to send an event. We'll just go to ourself and do update ammo in case I want to use that in another method. Finish, and I can go there. But I'm going to have this one that actually does the shooting. And it's going to have an FSM, an event called shot. Sure, sounds good. So he will send another event above this one to game object, its owner, shooting, shot. There we go. So if we hit 3, I click it, and we gotta move that because that's not gonna do us any freaking good. The other thing is we can probably use some ammo. Alright, so we hit 3, hit F, or 1, so we shoot. He's fired, we've gone to 8. So this guy's working. We come over here, and I haven't even made the event yet. So that's lovely. Let's fix that. So shot. Okay, let's just check that again real quick, make sure he's firing off the way we want him to. We hit 3, we shoot. Okay. So here, let's set animator trigger to, what was that? Shoot. I would also typically add sound effects and particle effects. I don't have those right now, so I'm not going to do that right now. But we should raycast. And then we would shoot forward. Not from this object though. Let's go from camera. Distance 100 is fine. 200 is better. Hit object. So we don't want to hit the player layer. So let's invert everything but player layer. And then we can hit. Right, so now we should have hit 3, and we shoot, come over here, done animation, we hit Villa exterior, sure, that makes sense. Alright, so that's kind of working as expected. I mean, not the prettiest animation, that's for sure. Mind you, I'm really not an animator. Alright, so we're going to do that. So we do sounds. We haven't built in enemies, so I think I'm just going to leave that logic the way it is. It's started, but we need, like, I'll have to find particles so we can, you know, apply bullet holes and dust and stuff and actually hit things, but we'll do that later. Alright, let's come out of 2D. What are we doing for time? God, it's already 30 minutes. Is there anything else small I could add real quick? We've got some UI, timer, starting our shooting, HUD stuff, player health. Alright, let's add a health. And the health needs two things. We need a reference to player health, and we need a variable. I'm going to use an int. Once again, I happen to like ints for some reason. They're just cleaner to work with. Okay, so we have damaged and heal. Sure. Alright, so there's a damage, there's a heal. So we will int add and clamp. We want to take health and add, I don't know, say we'll hit 25 if we ever call this. I'm going to clamp that to 100, and then UI text set text. Move to the bottom. We want, not text set text. What am I doing here? UI slider set value of player's health. Move this to the bottom, and let's just copy him over because we're going to reuse him, and we can, no, we don't even, well, yeah, okay, we'll bring the clamp over too. Paste that before, but obviously we aren't adding. Let's get a new variable, is new damage. I spelled that wrong. So now when we send damage, we'll send that value to it, and then, right, just to kind of show you how that works. If I were to make I'll use a cube so we can see it. Put that box right here, make it a trigger, give it an FSM. So if it's a player, we're gonna hit player, and we're gonna store the player. So this is just to kind of make sure this health bar is working. We're not keeping this little piece of logic. So we've hit. We need to set event data, if I can spell it right, and send event. So actually, and just for shits and giggles of it, random int of 0 to 50 set as damage. Set the int part of that to damage. Send it to the thing we hit. It has an FSM called health, and the event is damage. There we go. So, by all rights, if we walk into this, we should did we? Okay, so it's sending. Did I spell it right? It's damaging. Oh yeah, Jesus. Alright, so that's the other thing we gotta do. Int operator. We have to convert that from a, because we don't have int subtract. Actually, you know what? I use int subtract so often in my normal stuff. I should just pick it up. It's, I mean, really. Let's just get int subtract. I should probably grab the Unity 5 one. Other than getting the value and turning it to a negative and then adding it. Alright, let's just remove that. Let's just do an int subtract. Just so much better. Easier. So we're going to take health and we're going to subtract the new damage. Put that underneath to get that. Keep it above that. Okay. So there we have. We walked over. Now we took our damage, and it's a random amount. Oh, well, that was a big one. Right? Just like that. So, like I said, I'm going to get rid of that cube. We don't actually want it. That was just a test. It's a good thing we test, because we have to int subtract, not add. Alright, so now we got a health bar starting. It's starting of our gun anyways, the time. What else? Okay, here is something else real quick. Get rid of those. We have, where is flooded grounds? What scene are we in? We're in scene 1A. I'm going to put that as 0. No, actually I'm going to put that as 1, but I'm going to say start a new scene, and we'll say save this as first person horror title, and go back to build settings, and where did it save that? First person, no, just uncheck that. Oh. Uncheck that, move it down, check it back up. So now, make a canvas, make UI panel, canvas scale screen, panel stretched way out, black, solid, and create UI text, put it below, go to 2D mode, and let's go now. Look can be a little more original. Give it some sort of evilish red. Looks good. Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's expand that out a bit. It's not big enough for me. Position X is that. Okay, and let's do a button. Could always do an image or something too. And we'll say you could have quit and UI button. We'll just do a start. Okay, up here, quick FSM, button array. So we're going to use 2 buttons for now. Frickin' didn't label them up here. So that's quit and not start. So quit. And start. We don't need the button index, even though you can use that. It's actually a pretty good little thing. Okay, so if it's a quit, I'm just going to put this in for the so it looks pretty, I guess. Application quit, which won't actually run unless you do a build. But we'll put it in there just because. And that there, we want to scene, we want to load scene. We can do it asyncly or just load it. We could probably just load it at index 1. Load scene single, and that's it. I probably don't even need to transition back. Actually, not really out of either of those. Okay, so let's save. If I hit play, let's see what happens. So it makes it quitting won't. Oh, it kicks you out of play mode. Well, that's new. I could have sworn it didn't actually do anything. Alright, so we're playing, we hit start. And there we go. We are here. Alright, so let's save, and I think that's probably good for now. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.